Every backpacker, expat, or traveler that comes out here to Southeast Asia always runs into the same three problems. Today, I want to talk about them, get you ready for them, and give you some hacks, some ideas on how you can prevent them from happening to you. So, what are these three major issues that a lot of travelers run into? Number one, we deal with the language barrier of going to different countries. Just because you learn a language doesn't mean you truly understand what's going on. Number two is just a safety concern. Traveling alone, traveling with a group, being a male, being a female, are you truly safe and how can you stay safe? And finally, loneliness. When you travel out here to Asia, you are going to be alone because the people around you aren't going to be the type of people that you can connect with sometimes. And the backpackers and the other expats you meet, they're all going to come and go. So let's break these three things down and talk about how we can avoid them, better prepare ourselves for them, and really just enjoy the trip without worrying about these problems. So living out here in Southeast Asia for so many years, damn near a decade, I always like to sometimes kind of go back to the roots, as in going to a hostel for a couple of days, acting like a backpacker. The point of it is to kind of just reminisce with the other backpackers, sit down, trade stories, learn about some things that they've done, teach them things that I've learned, and kind of just make friends again. And I'll tell you, a lot of these stories, they vary. They're exciting. Some of them are just what you expect, and some of them are just extremely lame. For you guys that have the lame stories, check out my other videos. I talk about different hacks and how you can make your adventure 100% better. Because if you don't have local friends, most of your expat experience abroad is going to suck. So with that, let me kind of break apart the differential between the guys and the girls when it comes to traveling, because there are two different types of stories. My life, my experiences are nothing like a lot of the women that I talk to out here. They do different things. They came here prepared differently. They have different concerns. So let's talk about the different stories I hear from the guys themselves. So when I meet typical guys, there's kind of an array of things and qualities that they have, which is typically they hang out in very touristy areas, kind of like the walkie street, stuff like that. They typically speak no language of where they're going. So they don't speak Vietnamese, they don't speak Thai, Cambodia. They don't even attempt. And a lot of these guys, they typically just end up in backpack tourist areas and they just hit like the massive tourist sites. So examples, if you're in Bangkok, you're pretty much on the walkie street, you're on Khao San Road, you're going to the main museum that is literally next door to Khao San Road. If you're in Saigon, you're on Bui Vin Walkie Street. You go to the War Museum, which is down the road from Bui Vin. You're going to a lot of like bar hopping events and you're doing pub runs. These are the things that guys do. They're just out here to have fun. And this is where a lot of these guys go. Now, there are the expats that come out here to work. It's a different story. And if this runs into your category of who you are when you're out here, or if this is who you think you're going to be, the biggest hack is just to learn the language. Learn the basic. Learn how to talk at a market, and everything kind of falls into place. And I mean this sincerely. You don't want to come out here, end up in District 1, which is pretty much the party area of Asia, and just get drunk for 2 weeks and then go back home. What are you going to tell your friends? Oh, there's so many massage girls. The beer was so cheap. The food was good. Yeah. You're going to talk about all this stuff. But I mean, where are you from? LA? Cool. I can go to Santa Monica and do the same exact thing. You don't want to have those stories. You want something unique, something different. So learn some of the language. Again, check out that video I did where I talked about making friends in Vietnam. That video will help you make yourself different than like 99% of these backpackers that come out here and just get trashed and leave. Now, the women are typically a little better because guys typically run into the scams because they're in these tourist trap areas. Women typically learn some of the language and they're quite smart about it. They learn a lot of the market trading and basic conversation, introductions, how to ask for directions, how much something costs, and just how to do something in whatever country they're going to. This allows them to find like the markets, the good markets. It allows them to avoid scams. It allows them to communicate a little better with the locals so they can get better deals. And the best part of this, they make more local friends. And it's not like a sexual thing. It's literally like these local people are just like excited to be able to talk to a Western person that doesn't get drunk all day and throw up on everything and just want to chase chicks all day. This is kind of, I think, a benefit for women is there's this stigma that girls that come to places like Vietnam or Thailand, they're typically not doing that stuff. And the locals love it because it's like, cool, we can relate to these Western people. So this is something that a lot of women do is they get to see these tourist sites. They get to meet these local people. That's a huge plus. And again, learning the language is this benefit. It's something that the women typically do. Now, they do miss out on a lot of the fun party stuff that we guys get to really burn ourselves into. And it's not saying all. I've met some crazy girls out here that were just like they lost control, right? If you were to be the fly on the wall kind of thing for a female backpacker in Vietnam to a guy, you're definitely gonna see two different stories. But with that being said, I have seen the biggest problem for women. As I said, guys' biggest problem is scams. The women, they typically run into loneliness. Sometimes when they live out here as an expat, they want to find a relationship over time. When you come out here as a guy, you want to start dating locals or you just want to start dating. Women typically don't have this advantage because they're trying to find a Western guy typically. Because a lot of local or a lot of expat women, being Western or Russian, Ukrainian, whatever it is, they typically don't date Vietnamese or Thai guys. They want to date either Western guys, French guys, European guys, American guys, whatever it is. But these guys are looking for the locals. So these women are typically competing against the locals kind of a thing. And on top of that, a lot of these guys come and go. Like we just stay in Asia and then we leave after a few months, a few weeks, maybe even a few years. Myself, being a minority, I've been out here for like 10, 11 years. That's not a normal thing. And typically guys in my situation are married to local Thai or Vietnamese women. So this is one of the bigger challenges for women is loneliness. Where guys, it's typically the scams. So let's kind of break each of these down a little on the different situations that guys and girls deal with and how you can be better prepared. So even if you're a male or female, you come out here and have a similar experience that is something of value instead of just coming out here getting drunk as possible. So the first one is just language. When it comes to languages like Thai, it's pretty easy. Just learn Thai. Cambodia, Laos, same thing. Singapore, speak English. Malaysia, speak English. When it comes to Vietnam, you have the South, Central, Northern dialect. My suggestion for when it comes to Vietnam is learn South dialect. Use something like Pimsleurs. It focuses on the South dialect. I think its best way to go is 30 lessons. Each lesson is like 30 minutes. Try to master like the first 15 and you're good to go. That'll get you far enough out here so you can kind of expand your language ability and start communicating more with the locals, the taxi drivers, your hotel staff, whoever it is, and you'll have a better experience overall. Now, when it comes to choosing where to go, I suggest starting off where everybody goes. If you're coming to Vietnam, I suggest strongly Saigon. Saigon is a better spot for Western people to adapt to. Places like Thailand, like obviously Bangkok is probably your best spot to go. And then if you want to go to Chiang Mai, it's just north. There's an airport, fly up there, take a train, it's 12 hours. But you want to hit kind of like the biggest spots. Cambodia, you only have two main cities. And when it comes to Laos, I actually started in the very south and made my way up to the capital up north. This one is kind of up to you. I think Laos is an amazing country that most people don't really get to see. But you definitely want to kind of hit the major cities. And the reason for this is because you're going to meet other backpackers. You're going to get those stories. And they're going to give you advice where to go. You're going to be able to find easier ways to travel within these areas. Like Vietnam and Thailand and Malaysia and Laos have really good busing systems. So to be in the main city and pick a new city is a lot easier than being stuck in some random town that most people don't go to and you're trying to get out of it. And also with your mapping, download Maps.me and have it installed on your phone. The reason for it is it uses GPS, but it doesn't require Wi-Fi. So as long as your phone has a GPS chip in it and the phone's on, it will work. It doesn't need to have a SIM card or Wi-Fi to work. A lot of Laos, we actually use Maps Go because there's just no cell phone coverage in like a lot of Laos. It's just country, So have that. And then the last one when it comes to like where to go, pack light. I see so many backpackers come out with those big banana backpacks, like 5 or 6 of them, 20, 30 kilogram bags. Like it's insane. Don't. Come out here with the bare minimum. Just bring what you need for a couple days. If you need more clothes, toothpaste, if you want to buy souvenir stuff, buy it where you are. Most Nike, Boss, Hugo, Tommy Hilfiger, all this stuff is made out here in Asia. So you can get it like 95% cheaper than when you buy back home. So pack light. And this allows you to have room for souvenirs, stuff like that. And also, it's just easier to travel. I always travel 20 liters or less. I get on any flight, any train. I can walk the bag. We actually did a walk from Da Nang to Hoi An, and I had my entire everything on my back, and it was no problem. It didn't hurt. No complaints. So pack light. And then number 3 is just safety awareness. And this is in major cities and also just remote areas. Follow the Bruce Lee thing. Never walk close to a corner, like a wall when you're going around a corner. Be on the outside. Try to stay out of like alleys. A lot of places like Vietnam, like tourist areas, Thailand, Cambodia, you're not going to have issues. But at the same time, don't put yourself in a position where it could even be consideration. So know like places not to go. Know about the red district areas. Be safe. If you're going to go to a red district area in Bangkok, Bring a few friends with you. A lot of these places don't have police to help you immediately. There's not really a 911 out here where you can call and a police will show up and help you. Stuff like that doesn't happen. If you disappear, you disappear. If somebody steals your phone is gone. You're not getting it back. Within like 20 minutes, they rip the chip out of your what is it called? The IMEI ID number. They rip it out of your iPhone within minutes. They do it before they get to the store to sell the phone. Be careful around like tourist areas, like where you have like vendors. Don't get in questionable taxis. Don't get in like questionable tours that you have no idea about. Loneliness, it's just meeting people. Being out in Asia, you will get lonely at times. I've ran into it. Everybody runs into it at some point because no matter how fluent you are in their language or how fluent they are in English, you truly cannot adapt to them. You cannot truly understand each other because there's just like knowing a language is one thing, but understanding the emotion, the puns, the metaphors, and all that stuff is a whole different thing. So in general, when it comes to expats, I guess I'll give you the warnings. Expect short-term relationships with like 99% of the expats you meet. They're gonna come and go. I have a phone full of WhatsApp phone numbers. I think like 500 or 600 of them. They're all back in Germany, South Africa, Europe, America, Canada, Mexico City, Panama, everywhere. I will never probably see them again. But hey, you know what? If I ever go to Panama, Colombia, if I ever go to China again, if I ever go to Taiwan, I have somebody to call. But don't expect them to be there long term. And this is kind of a challenge for a lot of the women is relationship with Western guys. They typically just come and go. And it's not with malicious intent. It's just we come out here for like 3 or 4 weeks and we're out. You know, like the average male teacher in Vietnam typically only lasts like 2 years and he goes back home, gets a job, gets married, moves on with life, right? So I would keep that in mind. When it comes to meeting people though, check out hostels. I really think going to like different hostels that you find on like booking.com and stuff is a good way just to meet people. Homestays are kind of the same idea. Make some friends, take down some numbers, hang out for a couple weeks, make the best of it. Make a connection, make some YouTube collabs, whatever you want to do, but don't expect it to last forever. This isn't America. This isn't Australia. This isn't Canada. This isn't where you grew up, like your parents grew up, married each other from high school and having the same friends since secondary school. That stuff doesn't happen out here. So keep that in mind. Do expect 99% of your expat Western relationships to be short-lived. And when it comes to making friends with the locals, it's hit and miss. I actually have a lot of local friends in Thailand and Vietnam and Singapore that are long-term, but they're rare. I think out of the hundreds, thousands of people I've met locally, less than 1% of them are long-term. So it does happen. So I think that kind of covers everything today. So let me kind of give you the closing summarization if you made it this far. Learn the local language. Learn the basics of the language. Nothing too serious, 50 to 100 words. Pretty much what Pinterest teaches you in the first 15 is enough talking and start just naturally improving the language itself. When it comes to where you're gonna go, do a little research, but don't overplan. I see a lot of people that like, we're going here, here, here. These are the dates. Don't do that, but get a general idea. Set some ideas. My recommendation, though, if this is your first time ever coming out to Asia, Bangkok and Saigon are probably your 2 best first spots to go because you're gonna meet a very diverse group of people. It is going to be a little more westernized, friendly for you. So you kind of get that learning curve of the culture shock a little better. So you're not like freaking out, oh my God, what are we doing? You know, and you can get away with English a little bit there as well. So you're not completely like SOL. And finally, when it comes to just making friends, be social, make friends, be nice, share stories, have fun, but don't have high expectations for a lot of these relationships to be a long-term thing. They're unfortunately not going to. They'll be digital ones. I still talk to people on WhatsApp, but I don't think we'll ever meet again, like in person to hang out. Like that, those days are done, right? Make the best out of the moments is really what it is, because that might be the last day you see that person. So overall, decide where you're gonna go, learn some language, and pack a light bag. And enjoy your travel, enjoy your stay, but make the best of it. Don't turn it into a beer fest 6-week beer pub run. That's ridiculous. So you're gonna go back home and sound like a dork. Hey, I was drunk all day. Nobody cares. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna get out. Thanks for watching. I will see you again.